Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to the live stream here on the channel. Let's see what we have in here today. Oh, might be a little bit too many people to welcome here. Alright, let's see how many I could get. Lucy, Indiana, Caden, Pez, Catman, Sebastian. Let's see. We also have Brandon, Ben, let's see, Levi. I'm going to go down a little bit further here. Caden. And JD, How Close Are We, Steve, Ponderosa, Mr. Tank, SLD, Nev, oh my goodness, Lincoln. All right, that might be most of y'all, and everyone else who I forgot to welcome, and also everyone who may just be watching, not chatting. Glad to have you here as well. We've got a lot to talk about in today's live stream, a lot of stuff to go over, a lot of models. There's a lot of stuff to go over here, so yeah, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. This time I remember to turn on my camera. All right, let's see if this is even going to work. I did not check my pre-stream stuff like I normally do, so... All right, we're good. Yay, good. Because I didn't check everything, so I wasn't sure if that was going to work or not. But yeah, big risks, as we were anticipating. Now, what I was not anticipating was already a moderate day 2 risk here, so... we do have a moderate risk on the day 2 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. That's tomorrow, of course. You can see there is millions of people inside this risk easily. I mean, you've got 2 million, so 8 more million. There's 14 million, and then you've got an additional 13 million after that. So a lot of people inside this risk area for tomorrow, including long track significant intense tornadoes, damaging winds 80 miles per hour, if not greater. And damaging hail 4-inch in diameter or greater as well. Day 3, we also have a slight risk for severe weather out here towards Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri. Now, there's no upgrade to this just yet. We don't have an enhanced risk or a level 3 out of 5 for this just yet, but eventually we're most likely going to see an upgrade to this day. Exactly where, I do not know for certain, to be honest. I'm unsure on exactly where the highest that will be for Tuesday. And then day 4, we've got a very large slight risk for severe weather there as well for 44 million people. I do think this is going to be one of our bigger days. Wednesday looks like a pretty large day for severe weather, especially up towards the Midwest. You know, Nashville, probably will be included in that greater risk area: Arkansas, Missouri, St. Louis, Illinois, Indiana, probably including Indianapolis, I imagine, as well. Yep, out towards Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, quite a large area for the highest threat of severe weather right now. We've got that large slight risk. And again, I do think we'll see a day 3 enhanced. I would be a little bit surprised if we don't see a day 3 enhanced risk somewhere out, like I said, in this general vicinity here is where I think we'll see at least the consideration of an enhanced risk from the SPC. I'm not the SPC, so I can't tell you that they're going to issue it, but that's where I see from the models the highest threat for severe weather. So that's where I'm anticipating an enhanced risk. Maybe yeah, maybe a little bit more southwest of that. It might not include Ohio, but generally you're looking at that area. But yeah, a lot of people under the risk for severe weather. Tomorrow's our first big day for severe weather. Other days are also quite big for severe weather, but tomorrow's our biggest day as of now because we're really closest to Monday, which is tomorrow. So therefore, we have the most information on tomorrow, which is why they have their moderate risk for severe weather, 4 out of 5 for severe weather potential out there. Now, the 18ZH decided not to fully render in on this, so I don't think we're going to be able to use this here. Yeah, so you can see this. I mean, this goes out. Okay, it does go out far enough. So, yeah, so tomorrow at about 2, 3 o'clock, we're going to see a lot of thunderstorms start to fire up in Nebraska, Kansas. Those are going to make their way into the enhanced risk for severe weather about 3, 4 p.m. Eastern, and then move into that moderate about 5, 6 p.m. Eastern. And on the latest HRRR, it shows a discrete supercell. Now, that's what would be the worst case scenario for tomorrow. So this is where, kind of imagine this is where we have like our best ingredients in place, right? So if you get storms that are discrete inside that moderate risk for severe weather, those are going to have the highest potential. That's why we say, the potential for severe weather and the probability for tornadoes inside a given risk area. So, I mean, that's a really good risk. A moderate risk, that's a 4 out of 5, 15 sig for tornadoes there. What that means is every 25 miles of a given point here. So let's just go, I don't know, how about 25 miles? How about that? So within that area, we have a 15% chance of seeing a significant tornado EF2 plus. Same goes for up here, northwest of OKC. Same goes for up here, towards like the Alva area. So you get the gist of, how high our threat for tornadoes actually is tomorrow. Now, this isn't the largest moderate risk. This is a decent-sized moderate risk for severe weather. But, I mean, let's just take a look at the ingredients. You guys are going to be really astonished by this one because here's your supercell composite. And look at that, just an explosion in a very favorable environment here. Like Catman was saying, I think we will see an expansion to the moderate risk, probably out to the south and east here. I wouldn't be surprised if that actually includes Catman out there in Tulsa. So I would not be shocked at all if they push that more to the west. Now, the only thing that I'm debating here with the moderate is, are they going to extend it really far north? Because we have this line, this broken line that forms that will have the risk for all hazards there. So I'm not fully convinced that the tornado threat's going to be extremely high up here in Kansas, but I'm also not fully convinced the main threat's going to be wind because I'm kind of 50 between everything here. So regardless, we already have a 10 sig tor up here. We already have a 30 sig wind out here and a 45 sig, 30 sig hail. So regardless, we have all hazards. So I'm just wondering exactly how far north they may extend that moderate risk. But I do think that moderate's going to change a bit. But right now, they have it in a pretty good spot. They have it in a pretty good spot right now. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they don't change it. Really, there's not going to be much that would shock me here. The only thing that would shock me is if they had a high risk, because I definitely don't see that being on the table with this risk. So if that pops out of nowhere, I would not be anticipating that one. So we'll keep a very close eye on this risk for tornadoes, of course, here. Just make sure y'all are hyper weather aware. Unfortunately, this is a very high-end day, so if you guys could, please hit the like button and share the stream with everybody you know inside the risk area. I'm sure we have a whole lot of people who are already inside this risk area. Matter of fact, if we have anybody from, this risk region, go ahead and say your state, just so that way I can see, if we have anyone from Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma. I suppose you could say Texas too, although a lot of people who are in Texas aren't going to be in this tiny little sliver area here, because just a small area of Texas is inside that risk for severe weather here. Main area by a milestone is Oklahoma, Kansas. I mean, that's really your main region for severe weather. Nebraska is too, but I'm really going to be focusing on Kansas and Oklahoma. And we'll be live for 10 plus hours tomorrow. It's going to be a doozy. Like I said, I'm planning for about 3 p.m. to probably midnight, right around there. We'll see. But it's definitely a big threat for severe weather. So Tennessee, yes. So Tennessee, you're going to be on Wednesday's risk, Wednesday's risk here. But yeah, unless we have a massive uptrend, yeah, I don't see a high risk either. I don't see them issuing a high risk here. I would be, like I said, I'd be astonished. I'd be blown away if they end up pulling a high risk for this threat. But just remember also, this isn't just our only day. Because whilst I have this Outlook open, you may be like, okay, well then on your thumbnail, why is out here in Kentucky, Tennessee on the red if we're only in a level 0 out of 5? Well, that's because of not only Tuesday, but more specifically Wednesday. This is the day. Honestly, I'm more worried about Wednesday than I am tomorrow right now. Like, Wednesday has very big potential. Very, very big potential. It's been a hot minute since I've seen models agree on a high-end environment. 4 days out like this. Typically, you'll have the GFS model that has pathetic supercell composite here, and then the NAM model, which has a mega outbreak up here. But these models actually relatively agree with each other. So, honestly, like I said, I'm really concerned for Wednesday. So if you are inside this risk for Wednesday, which, I mean, there's 44 million, I'm sure at least somebody is somewhere inside this risk area. One of you guys, I'm sure we have 1 out of the 44 million people inside this risk area in here. I mean, Eric, Joplin, Missouri, you're inside that. Benton, Kentucky, you're inside that. I saw someone in, Arkansas is, all of Arkansas is in that as well. I know Ben's from Texas. Ben's in that too. Ben is in that too. Yeah, Tulsa's in that as well. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of risks. Whole lot of people inside those risks. What time of day on Wednesday? So we're a little bit far out to be able to say that. But most of the time for these severe threats in spring, you're probably going to be looking at starting on the west side of that risk. So starting out here. You know what? Actually, hold on. What about this day? Okay. So we'll probably have storms fire, to be honest, right when the cap lifts, which is probably going to be way earlier than I would end up saying here. I mean, you're probably looking at storms fire on the west side about 2 o'clock p.m. there. So I'm unsure on the exact timing, but this is an all-day threat. So the more west you are, the sooner you should experience your storms. That is what we should at least see here. Let's see. Unpopular opinion. I've seen a high risk, especially since models have been uptrending the past few hours. SPC up to their warning for Monday at their 1:30 p.m. Eastern update. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know about that day, to be honest. I don't really know about the model uptrends there. I'm a little slow today. My apologies. So yeah, I haven't seen many uptrends, to be honest. I really haven't. And the main thing I've seen an uptrend with is this being more of a broken line here. But yeah, as for Wednesday, 8 p.m. according to some models. So I don't really have any cam models in that range. But if I had to guess, it would. I mean, we'll probably see, like, yeah, the main event would probably really kick off towards, like you said, 8 p.m. I'd have to go a little bit earlier than that, probably closer to 6 p.m. out in this area here, but we're definitely going to see some early severe weather out here towards Missouri, Oklahoma, western Arkansas. But the main threat will probably be towards the nocturnal hours when that lower level jet really gets to ramp up out there. And wherever storms are, or wherever that cold front is where those storms are really going to get going. Wherever that cold front may be at 8 o'clock, which I wonder if the Weather Prediction Center actually says where it's going to be located. All right, so Wednesday. So for Wednesday, yeah, they have severe weather already being a possibility in the morning hours easily. But it's probably going to end up being this region here for the biggest risk. For Wednesday, like I said, we're looking at generally this area. So it just depends on where that cold front is. You know, if the cold front, for instance, if the cold front's right here at 8 o'clock, you got your low pressure up here, cold front here, your biggest threat is going to be immediately right out in this region. So it just depends on where that cold front sets up. It just depends. I think everyone has seen CSU. Yep. I really think everyone has. CSU has been blowing up recently, so that's not a surprise. But I'm not going to show that on my live stream because it's a different outlook. Like I said, I'm against showing anything other than the SBC outlook. Let's see here. So yeah, make sure you guys have hit that like button. Just under a fourth of y'all have hit that like button right now. Let's see. So make sure y'all do that. Spread this with your family, friends, social media. Oh my word. Hold on a second. Woo. That is wild. I just got tagged in something. Yeah, I made a mistake on that one. How close are we? I need to learn to not post the CSU without any context. Somebody called me out on Twitter on that, and I was like, oh, shoot, you know what? They're right. Because, see, I don't look at things from that perspective. Like, I got to think about that more often. I look at it from a weather enthusiast perspective. So when I post something, I just automatically think, people know what this is. But then, my reach went a little bit further than the weather community, 100,000 people on Twitter, so it reached general public and it started to scare people. And once I saw that, I deleted it. And I was like, nope, because I don't want to end up doing that stuff. That's not my goal at all. I learned today that the 300 millibar jet stream has big effect on tornado threats. Really? Yeah, I didn't hype it, but I didn't give context, and that is extremely important. Because people could have thought that wasn't an official outlook, and then boom, people think there's a high risk 60 sig, but it's just the CSU. And I was like, yeah, I don't want people to think that's an official outlook, so I deleted it. I mean, I don't care. I don't care that it had 500 likes. If people are seeing it and getting worried, that's where, because I can't provide context to that. If I put it in the comments of it and say, unofficial, right? There's like not even a 10th, like a 10% of people are actually going to see that it's not official if I put that in the comments. Because what you're going to see is you're going to see the main post and you're not going to click it and then look in the comments and then look to see if the person said something else. So I just wouldn't want to do that. I saw a really good question here. Why that storm looked like a derecho? That's what I saw. So, actually, there's been a lot of debate amongst my DMs of derecho potential out of this. I haven't seen a whole lot on social media about this, but it is something that I've considered this being a possibility. The NAM model goes ham, as always, and shows a freaking 400-mile long stretch of damaging winds. But the HRRR takes a similar approach. Similar, but not the exact same approach here. You can see how it goes more of a broken line and then grows upscale into that damaging wind side of things. So What I'm thinking is I'm thinking exactly what the SPC has. You know, again, SPC they normally have perfect outlooks. So I mean, they have exactly what I think. You know, significant tornadoes at first with significantly large hail, and then transitioning into more of a significant damaging wind threat. So I agree with that. At first, they're probably going to fire semi-discrete to kind of clustered thunderstorms. So the first probably 4 hours or so of this storm's lifespan, so from 4 p.m. all the way until like 9 p.m., at like 4 to like 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern, that's going to be a big tornado threat. I mean, tomorrow looks like a big threat for severe weather, regardless of what crazy people are saying on Twitter about this possibly gonna bust. Um, but this is unique. The fact that the 18Z and the 12Z HRRR haven't changed much. I mean, they really have the near exact same thing, with the acceptance of a different storm initiation. The HRRR 12Z has a little bit more of a line in Oklahoma, but still the same in Kansas. So the fact that those two models really have the same thing is shocking to me, because typically it will go one or the other way here. It's either going to go 12Z, HRRR is going to be, the median. It's going to be, maybe it's a decent threat, maybe it's not. And then the 18Z typically goes like near the complete opposite of that. You haven't, Catman? Man. Man, Catman. I've already seen a lot of people. Say it. Let's see here. Oh, whoa, hold on. I saw a really good one. Isabel quoted it on Twitter. Ha ha ha! That's gonna make the weather weenies freak out. That is gonna make the weather weenies freak out on Twitter, Catman. Oh my goodness. National Weather Service Norman. It's not out of the question, but here's the thing. Does it really matter whether we have a moderate or a high risk? We want everybody to be weather aware regardless of what the outlook is. So it's not out of the question of a high risk. That's exactly what Twitter's going to say. That is exactly what Twitter's going to say. You already know. Norman literally just tweeted that out. That it's not out of the question. I mean, typically when you have a moderate, it's never like, it's never a direct 0% chance. But the fact that the National Weather Service at Norman said that, oh man, just wait until Twitter gets word of that one. Just wait until Twitter gets word of that. Twitter. All right, hold on. I've got it. Wait. Hold on. Let me tweet this real quick. I got to do this. I'm sorry. Give me just a moment. Okay. Let's see. The severe weather hasn't been a disappointment or a bust at all lately. Yeah, I completely agree. But see, that's the thing. Twitter and just people overall have screwed up what bust means. Because in my eyes, a bust is where nothing happens at all. But say for some reason, just hypothetically, if the moderate risk tomorrow, if we had one long tracked strong tornado, right, that tracks through like northern Oklahoma where we have that moderate risk, just one strong to potentially violent tornado, right? Twitter's gonna call it a bust, because when people see a moderate risk, the first thing that they think is super outbreak. Like, I've literally already had questions of that, not only on this, not particularly this live stream, but the last live stream, but also just people messaging me saying, do you think tomorrow's going to be a super outbreak? Because that's what people think. They see these high-end risk regions, and they're like, super outbreak, 150 tornadoes possible. And that's not the case. So that's another thing. You're gonna have to learn how to understand these outlooks here, because they are tricky. So here's your tornado probabilities, right? So like I've gone over, every 25 miles of a given point, you have a 15 significant chance of one tornado to occur, and it has a chance, of course, to be significant. So that is a higher end risk area. But I mean, even if we saw, for instance, multiple supercells here, that's the thing. If you have one supercell that produces a tornado throughout the entirety of that moderate risk, it's verified on the northern risk area because every 25 miles within that storm radius, it dropped a tornado, if not, stayed on the ground that whole time. So it's very confusing. It confuses a lot of people, which is why, like I said, I don't like to show other outlooks. But I mean, even just these risks confuse people because you look at this, right? So for the tornado risk, you would look at this and it says 15 significant severe for tornadoes, right? You may think, all right, that's a 15% chance for me to see a tornado, or that whole area, 15% chance to see a tornado. But tomorrow, I nearly guarantee we're going to see a tornado watch that has probabilities greater than 60% chance of seeing 2 or more tornadoes. So that's not the case. Again, it's 15% chance every 25 miles of a given point. My family is still in southern Indiana, except one part of my family is in middle Indiana. So Indiana, you guys are already inside, portions of Indiana at least, are already inside. Jesus, that's like, okay, that's nearly all of Indiana, let's be honest, except for the northwest quadrant. But yeah, you guys are already inside that slight risk for Tuesday. But I'm not really watching Tuesday that much. I just don't feel like it has that solid potential for significant severe weather just yet, at least tornado-wise. Now, damaging winds, maybe hail as well, are probably going to be at least a possibility for Tuesday. But I'm really watching Wednesday. This big risk area Wednesday is what I'm really, really watching the most. So that is what I'm keeping a very, very, very close eye on. And not only that, one of the models we just got in here, the NAM3K, for Tuesday, it doesn't even show storms firing inside the warm sector. So if storms didn't fire, then guess what? You're not going to have a severe threat if storms just don't happen. And that looks to be because of a lack of wind shear. So I'm going to switch all over to the model runs here. So let's just take a look at this model here. So for Tuesday, you have this very broad area of jet stream flow here, but you don't have anything really organized. You don't see any really shortwave troughs or anything like that along this belt of flow, except for all out here. But that really doesn't matter because you're not going to have instability that gets into that area whatsoever. There you go. So that's why Wednesday is going to end up being the bigger day out of Tuesday and Wednesday, because guess what? If we go into Wednesday here, you get a neutral, or actually this is a negatively tilted trough ejection here, especially a negatively tilted shortwave trough, which allows for more severe weather potential. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that. I mean, you can see just off the GFS model that shortwave is going to greatly increase the potential for tornadoes on Wednesday. But notice I said potential because whilst we have the environment favorable for tornadoes, whether or not storms take advantage of that environment, we'll just have to figure that out later down the line once storms actually fire and what happens at that time frame. So none of these risks are set in stone by any means. I mean, there's a chance that we don't see much of anything tomorrow, but that chance is slim to none because just so many models. I don't know if there's any models that don't convect tomorrow. It's just a perfectly timed trough. That's why we have a moderate risk out. It's just perfectly timed. It's just a perfectly timed trough ejection, so we already have that large, enhanced, and moderate. So I'd be surprised if we don't see at least a couple tornadoes tomorrow, and I do believe a lot of them are going to be strong. So we'll wait and see. Let me check this real quick. There we go. Welcome back, Jonathan. Welcome back. So, oh shoot, my window's too far up. I've got to reopen it. So again, if you're just tuning in, we're looking at tomorrow's risk for severe weather potential. Yes, this is a briefing. We do have a severe watch out here, but that didn't really do anything, so I didn't go live for it. I mean, we had a couple severes, but none were significant to my knowledge. So, again, if you're just tuning in, the main focus of today's live stream is tomorrow's risk. We've got a very large enhanced risk and moderate risk for severe weather. That is a level 3 and a level 4 out of 5 for severe weather. And we're also looking at Tuesday's risk, which is a large slight risk. But again, I'm not really too focused on Tuesday. I don't see it being big potential. Now, Wednesday, again, I really think Wednesday is going to probably be the biggest day out of them all. I really think Wednesday right now has the biggest potential, considerably more than tomorrow. But whether or not models continue with that potential and stay on this track where it looks like it could be very significant, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. So just make sure you're hyper weather aware. I mean, we've got a massive risk region. We've got today's risk, which isn't that big. But we've got tomorrow's massive area, which encompasses a very large chunk of the U.S. here. I mean, gracious, I don't even know if I could add all this up here. 8 million, 14 million. So that's like 27 million people inside that risk. An additional, geez, holy crap. These numbers are too much for me. 58 million inside that risk and an additional 44 million inside of that risk. That is a lot of people. That is a lot of people. Now, not everybody is going to be at risk for the significant tornado portion of this. So for tomorrow, some of you guys out here in that 10 hatched area and 15 hatched region, there's a good chance you don't see a whole lot of stuff. So you can see some people may see a very strong tornado out here in west of OKC, and then up north you may not see much of anything. So we'll just keep an eye on it. Again, every 25 miles of a given point, there is a 10 to 15 significant chance of a tornado. If you're inside that yellow-black hatched area, it is a 10 sig, a 10% chance for a significant tornado every 25 miles of a given point. And if you're in that red area, 15 significant chance for strong tornadoes there. Let's see. I thought I heard a donation. Oh, yes. Johnston, thank you for the $5 donation. How worried should I be in Manhattan, Kansas? Tomorrow models are starting to show discrete cells forming by us. Well, first off, that's a model run. That's the first thing I have to say. That's a model run, so it could easily, and will, actually, I should say, it will change. Unfortunately, though, you are in a very high-end risk for severe weather, so you definitely want to be hyper weather aware. I mean, you're in the enhanced risk for severe weather. I mean, yeah, you're in a really high-end threat. All hazards are on the table. I'm sure you already knew that. Well, there's a notification. Thank you for the $5 super chat once again, Johnston. Let's see here. How worried should I be? So again, I don't worry. Don't worry. Just stay hyper weather aware. I know it's difficult to not be worried when you have this big of a severe threat. I mean, this is, you are out in Tornado Alley. I'm quite confident you've been in this multiple times before. Make sure you have a weather radio. Make sure you know where your safe spot is just in case. And make sure you're hyper weather aware. And definitely make sure you're staying tuned to watches and warnings. And have multiple ways to receive those as well. Don't just rely off of this channel. We'll most likely be live at 8 o'clock. Like I said, we'll probably be live from 3 to midnight tomorrow Eastern time. So once these storms roll through your area, we should still be live. Let's see. I know I'm missing a lot of questions here. Anything for Southwest VA anytime soon? So I'm watching day 5, Thursday. Now, what about Wednesday for Southwest VA? Yeah, so I'd keep an eye on Wednesday into Thursday for Southwest Virginia. But it doesn't look like anything too over the top. Do you think Fort Wayne, Indiana gets an enhanced risk either Tuesday or Wednesday, or is it better chance more south? So Tuesday, right off the bat for Tuesday, I can't tell you, to be honest. I don't have enough information for Tuesday. But there's a much higher chance on Tuesday that it's well off to your south. If we manage to see one somewhere, like I said, it's probably going to be out back in this area here. So definitely a much better chance on Wednesday for you to see a higher end threat. But then again, it's probably going to be to your south. So yeah, honestly, I think the main risk for severe potential will remain off to your south. But regardless, you need to be hyper weather aware because you're probably going to end up in at least some risk for severe weather. Wednesday in extreme southwest Virginia. Yeah, it's, I mean, you have the possibility for some isolated thunderstorms for sure. You know, my question when I ask your condition. Man, I never claimed to be a meteorologist and I never will. I'm not a meteorologist. Oh, man, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Can we just, let's just give that person the silent treatment. Where is that person? Yeah, that person right there. Hide person on channel. I love YouTube. I just have the power to hide anyone I want. So there you go. Now we don't have to deal with that person. Isn't that great? But yeah, I'm no meteorologist. I am trained though. I'm an official spotter for the National Weather Service in Blacksburg, Virginia. So I am a trained professional. But I'm not a meteorologist. I do not have a degree in meteorology. I do not. But I have been studying this, and I have college textbooks and everything, and I've been studying it for 3 years, I believe. Or am I coming up on 4? Man, I've lost count. I think I just passed 4 years of studying this. Yeah, like April 20 something. April 20 something, 2020 is when I really started to go into, you know, trying to learn a lot about meteorology, but I'm not a meteorologist. Let's see. I consider him a meteorologist. Well, I'm not. I'm not. I'm a person who studies weather, but I don't have a degree in meteorology. Is it mainly a line of... why did I lose that comment? Is it mainly a line of storms for Lincoln, Nebraska tomorrow? So you're up here. You're definitely going to have more of a line, yes. I believe your main risk by milestone is wind. Yeah, so you're going to have a big risk for wind. Big wind bag. Your main risk is near 80-mile-an-hour winds up there. So that's by far your main risk for sure. But a couple embedded tornadoes, which should be in this area, they should be relatively on the weaker side of things. I'm not expecting them to be significant. What risk does Michigan have for severe weather? So Michigan's not in the biggest risk. Tuesday, you're in a level 1 out of 5 in southern Michigan. And Wednesday, you'll probably be introduced into a 1 out of 5 as well. But I don't expect Michigan to get in on the primary activity. I don't expect that. But definitely still want to watch southern Michigan. Lawton, Oklahoma, main risk, everything. Everything. I hate to tell you, buddy, but everything. I mean, you're in the... Oh, wow. Lawton's in the moderate. So, yeah, significant tornadoes, long-tracked, strong tornadoes will be a possibility. Damaging winds near around the realms of 75, 80 miles per hour. And extreme hail near 4-inch in diameter a possibility. Or, as the SPC says, gigantic hail. Gigantic hail. That's what they call it. Yeah, so this is what they say. Multiple strong, potentially long-track tornadoes, giant hail, and severe damaging winds appear likely tomorrow. 4-inch hail, 80-mile-an-hour winds, and a few long-tracked, strong tornadoes possible. So, quite the high-end wording from the officials there from SPC. Now, I do have good news for you. We're unsure on the storm coverage here. How big is giant hail? 4-inch in diameter. Softball. So I don't think many models show storms firing in Lawton or to your west. So there's a chance, like I said, we're unsure on where storms fire, but there's a chance that storms fire up here and you just don't get anything tomorrow. There's a chance. There is a chance for that. So whilst you're in the high end risk, that's the thing. So if a storm gets in that environment where you're located, it has a chance to produce all of those ridiculous hazards. But if it doesn't get in that area and say it stays off to your north, you could end up with nothing. You could literally end up with absolutely nothing. Let's see here. Yeah, the strong tornado threat, Drew, is definitely actually most of Kansas. You can see here most of central eastern Kansas, and it, pretty much near all of central Oklahoma, if not all of central Oklahoma. I would consider this central Oklahoma here, so I'm pretty sure this includes like all of central Oklahoma. I did see one question I think I accidentally skipped over. What about DFW tomorrow and Wednesday? That's tricky. So for tomorrow, honestly, I don't think you'll see a whole lot in the DFW. You're in a level 1 out of 5, so very low end. I really don't expect thunderstorms out there. Now, if there is, I'll accept my defeat, but I'm not expecting thunderstorms in the DFW for tomorrow. Now, Wednesday, you have a much better chance for severe weather potential. Whether or not that potential actually occurs, we're going to have to wait until we get closer. But yeah, Wednesday definitely has a better chance for severe weather around your area for sure. So by far, I'd be watching Wednesday. I would definitely be watching Wednesday the most. Let's see here. I heard somebody, or not heard, but saw somebody say something. All right. Last year we got hit by baseball-sized hail, and it totaled both my new cars and damaged my roof. Well, dude, I hate to hear that. That is crazy. I do not like hail. I do not like hail at all. I'm a big lightning and thunder person. How does Wednesday look for Central Illinois? Good question. I'm unsure on Central Illinois. It's really going to come down to the last second details, but most likely, you know, like I already said, I'm watching this area the most here, right out here. So, right out in this area is what I'm watching the utmost for Wednesday. Exactly where, we'll just have to wait until we get more model data on that, and then we'll figure out what. But yeah, y'all, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated. And share this with as many people as you can. And also subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. I'm glad to have all y'all here today for another live stream. This is our live weather briefing. Main reason for this, again, is for that moderate risk for severe weather tomorrow. So if you don't know what these categorical risks mean, it's a scale of severe weather. So in that marginal, the dark green, you've got a level 1. Actually, we'll start with the general thunderstorm risk. So here we have a level 0 out of 5, or as I like to call it, a 0.5 risk, because it's not actually a 0. This is where you could see an isolated boom of thunder, some isolated heavy rain showers, and that is about it. And then that marginal risk is where you have a risk for isolated, very brief, and very weak tornadoes, isolated damaging winds around the realms of 50 miles per hour, and isolated small to large hail about ½ inch to 1 inch in diameter. Then you get into that slight risk for severe weather, the level 2. That's where you're talking about the potential for 1.75 inch hail, a couple weak tornadoes being a possibility, and damaging winds near 70 miles per hour. And then you get to the enhanced risk, that level 3. That's where you talk about the potential, depending on what hazard it is, for significant tornadoes, damaging winds near 80 miles per hour, and large hail, typically about 3 inch in diameter. Then you get to that moderate risk level 4 out of 5. That's when that's what we really consider above and beyond extreme type ordeal there, because we start talking about 4 or 5 inch hail, 90-mile-an-hour winds, and multiple strong long tracked tornadoes, possibly some violent. Now the good news is the tornado threat. So if we compare this, see how the marginal goes all the way up to like South Dakota, right? So the tornado threat actually doesn't go up all the way to South Dakota. That's actually for more of the wind threat and the hail threat. So they also have layers to this, which adds to the confusion. It adds to more confusion there. So here's your tornado threat. So now we've changed the entire thing. There's your marginal risk for tornadoes, your 2%. That's where you could see a few isolated, very brief, very weak tornadoes. One or two weak tornadoes is possible. The slight risk, that brown, is a level 2. That's a 5% chance every 25 miles of a given point for a tornado. Typically, we see a couple tornadoes that are most of the time all weak in intensity. Then you get to that non-hatched level 3, so that's a non-significant enhanced risk for tornadoes. Basically, a couple weak tornadoes are expected inside that area. And then we've got a hatched risk, again, level 3, but this time significant, where we are anticipating multiple strong tornadoes being a possibility. And then you've got the level 4 moderate risk, 15 significant chance, which is, again, same ordeal, significant tornadoes. But this time we may actually end up with possibly even a violent tornado, and some of which could even be long tracked as well. And then we've got the wind risk. So the good news with the wind risk is we don't have a moderate for wind, which means we're not anticipating 90-mile-an-hour winds. However, we are anticipating the potential for 80-mile-an-hour winds because it's an enhanced risk. So that's your 5% chance for damaging winds every 25 miles. 15% chance for damaging winds every 25 miles, which damaging winds is 60 miles per hour. And then a 30% chance for damaging winds every 25 miles of a given point there. And then we go into the hatched area. That's where it changes a little bit. That area has a 30% chance every 25 miles of a given point of seeing 70-mile-an-hour winds in that hatched area. Now, unfortunately, the hail risk is a moderate risk, so you are looking at the potential for 4-inch hail inside that pink area there. So very confusing. I know, very, very confusing. But that's the categorical risk that the SPC has built up over time, and this is what's worked the best for them. And it's a great risk, but it takes a little bit of learning and getting used to. Man, that was a lot of talking. Let's see here. So yeah, for Tuesday, Central Illinois really shouldn't have much. I'm still uncertain about this risk as a whole. I just don't know. I mean, this may end up being a significant risk for damaging winds or something, but then again, it may just end up not even being much of a risk at all. So we'll just keep an eye on it. But yeah, it doesn't matter in this sense. It doesn't matter what color you're in here. You need to be hyper weather aware. I don't care if you're in the level 1 threat. You need to be hyper weather aware. But what does matter is the fact that if you're in, the red area, you have a much better chance to see severe weather than the level 1. But regardless, if you're in any of these shaded areas, that's the whole point here. If you're in any of these shaded areas, just be hyper weather aware. Like I said, I don't care if you're in that level 1. You still need to be hyper weather aware. That level 1, that level 2, that level 3, and that level 4. Basically, it's just telling you who has the best shot at seeing the listed hazards. That's really what it's talking about here. That's why we have the categorical risks. So, this area has the best shot at seeing 4-inch hail, whereas for the wind risk, this area actually has the best shot at seeing 80-mile-an-hour winds. And for the hail risk, like I said, actually, we could see, the hatched area, that's where you start talking about 1.75-inch hail. So actually, anywhere inside this whole area, I wouldn't be surprised. All it takes is for a storm to form early. I mean, if a storm forms way back out here and it tracks into that brown risk area or that yellow hatched area, it's probably going to try to produce some large hail. So we've seen that. I mean, we just saw that the other day where storms fired well to the west of the risk area, and then they did a update at 4 o'clock and pushed the whole slight risk west. So there's been occasions where storms fire early, and there's been occasions where storms fire late, and there's been occasions where storms just don't fire. So what about Memphis, Tennessee? Wednesday, easily biggest threat for sure. So this is Tuesday. You're inside the risks, so I would keep an eye on it, but Wednesday is probably going to be your main risk. Wednesday is going to be your biggest risk for severe potential. So that's what I'm going to watch the most here is Wednesday. Like I said, I really think Wednesday has a better chance than tomorrow for all hazards and big potential. So we'll keep a very, very close eye on that for sure. Like I said, y'all, we'll be live tomorrow. Of course, we'll be covering this threat. So if y'all haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you are new, because we'll be live probably about 3 p.m. is what I'm looking at for tomorrow. Now, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing storms as early as 11 a.m. tomorrow. So I really would not be surprised whatsoever, but I'm not going to go live right off the bat. Because I need to, YouTube only lets us go for 11 and a half hours. So if for some reason we have to continue beyond, beyond our 10-hour point, which is what I'm anticipating tomorrow, then we could. So I don't want to start it too early, because if we started at like 11 a.m., YouTube's going to cut us off at, 10 o'clock or so, 10:30. And the main threat could be a little bit later. So I don't want to start too early. But I'll definitely be live by the time these storms get into the moderate. The plan is to attempt to be live by the time they hit the enhanced risk, but like I said, that could happen as soon as like 11 a.m., so we'll see. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Hopefully you're having a great day as well. Let's see here. I've heard worrying things about Thursday. Let's see here. Yeah, Thursday, I don't think Thursday is going to be the biggest day at all. Now, it might be the biggest day for me in Southern Virginia, but I don't see the highest potential for Thursday, at least just yet. But we'll keep an eye on it, because look what we have on Thursday. We do have something. We do have something that forms according to the GFS. We have a little shortwave that forms out in this area here. So what that would do is that would increase severe potential right near that shortwave. And you can see, I bet if I switch to this, yep, I was a little bit off. It actually might be a little bit more to the west, but generally right there is where you have a better shot for severe potential. So we'll see. And then my neck of the woods, how far does this go out? 96 hours. Dang it. I wanted to see if I could use the NAM model. Wow, that is a... I just gotta... Hold on a second. Just gotta pull this real quick. I'm just gonna pull a few soundings right near my house here, and then one off to the south. You guys see nothing. You see nothing. Could the slight risk move more up north by chance? Get Memphis, Tennessee out of the slight risk. So for Tuesday, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Because I don't see a whole lot of potential Tuesday. Ooh, that is a really good environment. What time is that? 2 p.m. That is a solid environment. What does a jet stream look like? Ooh, I get a little shortwave trough too. But anyways, yeah, Tuesday you could definitely get moved outside of that slight risk area. I actually haven't read the text for this yet. Blah, 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 blah. Just tell me the hazards. That's all I want to see. Well, shoot. Did they not even tell me the hazards? Isolated, strong, gusty wind. Oof. Yeah, so it doesn't look like a big risk at all for Tuesday. Which, honestly, I never was expecting that to begin with. Yeah, I was never expecting Tuesday to be that big. So we'll keep an eye on it for sure. I'll let y'all know if anything does change with this. Real quick, just want to go over these severe thunderstorm warnings out here. We got a little MCS that has formed, just a line of isolated damaging winds out here west of Corpus Christi, Texas. So we'll keep an eye on that. But these severes are very low end. We're not expecting much out of them, so not really going to be doing coverage for those. Man. So we'll keep an eye on it for sure. Like I said, right now the main day is tomorrow. That's our main day for severe potential. Thank you, Smith, by the way, for subscribing. So right now, tomorrow's by far our biggest potential. I mean, just to put it in perspective, tomorrow's a level 4 out of 5, and then you go into Tuesday, and it goes all the way down to a level 2 out of 5. And then Wednesday, I do really still believe. I think Tuesday's going to be a big, or not Tuesday, but Wednesday's going to be a big day. Tuesday's probably going to be a little bit of uh, an iffy risk here. You know, some areas might be at risk for tornadoes. Some areas might just have risk for isolated winds. And then a lot of people, honestly, probably aren't going to see a whole lot. Also, keep that in mind, too. Like I've said, you know, not everybody inside this is going to see severe weather. Some of you guys are going to see a whole lot of severe weather, and then other people are going to see little to nothing. So we'll keep an eye on it. See you later, Brooklyn. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. The whole week was looking big on Friday. Yeah, so I really think tomorrow's right now the biggest risk, but Wednesday could easily triumph that. Why don't storm chasers chase ever chase lines? Because normally they're hard to keep up with. Normally lines move fast, and their only hazard is typically spin up tornadoes and isolated damaging winds. So you're not going to see a you know, outbreak of tornadoes from a line. Now you might see like a localized small tornado event. But, you know, we'll just watch it closely. But this is going to be unique. Like I said, this is going to be a bit more of a unique threat here. Because we're going to have a bit of a mix of both. Some of them are going to be discrete. Some of them are going to be semi-discrete. So, we'll keep an eye on it. Let me go ahead and show you all this real quick. Oops. I got to choose the right model one. Also, we'll get new models tonight, but I don't think we'll be alive. I saw someone, was it Ben? It was either Ben or How Close Are We who asked it. The 00Z HRRR starts to render typically about 8:55 Eastern. 8:50, 8:55 Eastern. And then it's most of the time it's done right about 10 or just before 10. But yeah, so the northern line, or the northern mode here, is going to be a line of damaging winds with isolated large to very large hail and spin-up tornadoes, some of which may be strong. And then the southern portion should be more of that semi-discrete storm. So I would say most of the chasers are going to be targeting probably right in here. Like if I were chasing tomorrow, I would probably be in Enid right now. I would be, or if that's even how you say it. That might be, but that's where I would be. That's where I would be. If not, maybe even a little bit west. Maybe even out towards Woodward, Oklahoma, actually. So, yeah, one or the other. No need to spam it, Leon, and that would not be a surprise if you watched my hurricane forecast. Because we talked about that. We talked about the potential for an early tropical system in late May. And models are starting to pick it up in the Eastern Pacific, but I don't think anything's shown it in the Atlantic yet. Models are definitely starting to pick up on tropical activity, for sure. That's why I needed to get that hurricane forecast out as quickly as I could. And we did it. Yeah, so the GFS, of course, is still showing it, but I want to see what you're talking about with the European. I don't see anything on the European. Is it out in the MDR? Tropical Atlantic. No. I don't see it on the European. I see it on the GFS. Which, given, I wouldn't listen to much. And nothing in the EPAC. But we'll keep an eye on it. If, you know, we'll be here for hurricane season 2. It's not like I'm just going to vanish during hurricane season. But I will tell you this. Y'all. The live streams are going to slow down. They are going to slow down as we go into hurricane season. Daily briefings are going to become less and less frequent, and every other day videos are probably going to start becoming more of a reality. So our daily streams aren't going anywhere yet, but as we go into hurricane season, I start to back off a bit on the daily live streams. But you already know, if there's a severe event, we're still going to be doing our normal streams. Let's see. Yeah, so there's your NAM model here. And see what I'm talking about? So this model has kind of OKC and to the north missing out on most of the severe weather tomorrow. Whereas if we go to a different model, the high resolution rapid refresh HRRR model run here, you'll notice that it actually shows nearly the complete opposite, with OKC getting in on most of the action and the southern portion missing out on pretty much all the action. So there's still modeling consistencies. Man, it's going to be awesome to see some towering cumulonimbus out there. And that's going to be what you really watch for. As a storm chaser, I'd be in Woodward, and I would just be glued to satellite imagery tomorrow. Because right when those bubblers start to form, you'll see bubblers start to go up along the dry line. You'll see little cloud tops start to shoot up on the satellite imagery. That's when you go. That's when you know it's go time. It's time to really activate full chasing now. And that we'll probably start seeing those that CU field develop out in western Oklahoma right about 4 p.m. Eastern. What do you think the greatest threat for severe risk will be Wednesday, or for Wednesday? So I've said this before. If you weren't in here, I'll gladly say it again. By far, right out in here. Right out in here is what I'm looking at. Now, it might be a tad bit more to the north, but this is generally what I'm watching. Generally that area. That's where I think Wednesday will have that's where I think will be the biggest risk on Wednesday. Let's see here. So that's another issue for tomorrow, guys, is there's not really a bust mode. There's not really a clear bust mode, something that could stop storms from really going tomorrow. So that's another reason why they've issued the moderate too. There's no bust factor. There's no, oh, it's going to underperform because of this. The main issue per se is, will we see, how many discrete storms will we see? That's really the only thing. There's no solid bust mode for tomorrow. And that's visible. I mean, every last model run just has a ridiculous area of very favorable environment for tomorrow. So, I mean, look at this. You've got a fully prime area here for severe potential and all hazards, even strong long track tornadoes. Maybe even the potential for a violent tornado as well. And there's not going to be a bust in it. I mean, your temperature dew point spread is near perfection. Instability, I mean, we can go back a bit so you can see it's uncapped, and then yeah, it does start to get capped overnight. That's just how it typically goes. I mean, your wind shear, there's not a bust mode, especially as we go towards 8 o'clock. That is when the prime environment really explodes. So we'll see. 8 o'clock is definitely when the primary ingredients pull through. But I mean, you could see even in the morning hours, like the yellow area is where it's still favorable, and the orange and then the red. But as you go towards like 6 o'clock, like this is 6 o'clock tomorrow, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, it just gets worse and worse. And then the STP, I mean, like I said, I don't like to look at this, but I mean, it's off the charts too. So this is Monday. You can see it up here. Well, this actually says Tuesday, but Monday. This is Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then it goes into Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m., which is technically still Monday. Stubborn Zulu time. It's always confusing. Like I said, Zulu time For Zulu time, the new day starts at 00Z, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. So not very fun. Let's see here. All right. I checked those lapse rates. That's that we didn't check last time. I don't really like to check lapse rates here, but I mean, sure, we can look at it with something here. Does the NAM show them? The only model that I know that shows lapse rates is the GFS, and that's a garbage model. Okay, the NAM does show them. I'm just blind. Got it. Yeah, the HRR doesn't show. We'll look at the wrap, because the wrap's probably going to be the most accurate here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so what did you want me to check? did you want me to check the lapse rates, was it? Man, they're not an issue. Ooh. Lower level, though, towards the night hours. Hold on. Alright. Yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh my goodness. No wonder why they have that out. Jeez. Wow. That's a yeah. All right. So basically what we're looking at here is ooh, my bad. Just block that out. There we go. Basically, this is absurd. This is absurd. That's really what you're looking at here. Now, the good news is I've taken this where the capping's in place, which is right here. But watch this. If we go back towards, I don't know. Let's just choose. Geez, what should we do? Let's just choose like, this area. Right here. Basically, it's a classic sounding for tornadoes. That's really what it is. It's a classic all hazard sounding, especially tornadoes. But you have a capping in place, so that means that storms aren't going to be able to fire in that environment. So it looks like towards the latter half of the risk, the capping does actually become an issue. And that's why the HRR doesn't convect on the southern side. So you can see how it's left with, like, there's little to no convection on the southern risk area. Thank you for subscribing, William. Much appreciated. It's because of that capping that's left in place. So it does seem like the capping might be a little bit of an issue. But that could just be because of the cloud cover from the HRR. Because the HRR loves to flop cloud cover wherever it can. I mean, if we use something that's a little bit better for cloud cover, I think this is, which one is it? We're going to have to go global. Not global, but zoomed out here. So this is the better model, I believe, for cloud cover. And you can see on Monday, which is, of course, our main day, there's a very nice area of clearing towards the afternoon hours. However, I don't think it's really going to be much of a clearing, so that capping might be an issue towards the latter half of the day, but it's still not going to be a main bust factor. What the heck am I looking at? When did what? Oh, that's the older model run. Okay, so the older model run did convect in southern Oklahoma. The newer model did not. Interesting. Around OKC? Sure, I could take one right for OKC. We'll take it right here. Right there. Omaha, so Omaha's in Nebraska. You are... Jeez. My word. In the slight risk. Main risk by far, damaging winds. Yeah, damaging winds, isolated large hail, and a brief tornado. So definitely want to keep an eye on it for sure. Main timing for this will probably be about 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Well, thank you for subscribing, Daniel. Much appreciated. Again, basically classic sounding. Except this has no capping in place. I mean, it has a -11, but that's not much of an issue. So basically, there's nothing stopping this from being if something got in this environment from being all hazards and tornadoes here. I mean, even look at the analogs. You have one friggin' 4.75-inch hail. Man, sure hope that doesn't happen. Somebody's gonna lose a windshield in OKC if that happens. Well, millions of people probably will if that happens. But yeah, you can see your main dry line. Pretty easy to see your dry line here. The main reason why southern Texas isn't going to convect to anything is because of the capping. So that capping is probably going to be at least a bit of an issue, especially in the later half of the day. So we'll see. Do you think... do y'all think tomorrow should be high risk? So my personal opinion, yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I would not be, I would not be saying it's going to go high risk. Plus, that's up to the SPC. It's up to the SPC. And like Norman said, it doesn't really matter. Regardless, you need to be hyper weather aware. Regardless, tomorrow's potential is high end. Regardless, we're at risk for all significant hazards, including long track strong tornadoes. So, does it really matter? Yes, it does matter in the sense of pinpointing who's going to see the highest severe threat. Yes, but the main reason why, they would issue the high risk is not only to pinpoint, like I said, the severe potential, but also a high risk could grab the attention of the entire nation. A moderate already does that. But basically, a high risk, really, that makes it completely like this is going to be near historic, if not historic. So basically, long story short, people want high risks just because they want to hype stuff up so much. That's typically for Twitter. Typically, you'll see most weather weenies on Twitter say this could go high risk. This has enough potential for a high risk. Because that's all they care about is high risk. So, like I said, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. Again, it does matter in the sense of yes, if it's a high risk, that means higher severe potential. But like Norman said, regardless of the risk, you need to be hyper weather aware. Do you know the timing for severe weather this week for Springfield, Missouri? So Springfield, yeah, definitely going to be towards like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., Monday night into Tuesday morning. But the storm should be relatively on the weaker side of that once it impact your area. So I'm not expecting anything too crazy for Springfield by any means. Let me see if they have you in an enhanced or whatnot. Let's see here. Yeah, you're in the slight risk, so your main risk will be wind by far, by a milestone. Wind and maybe even a brief weak tornado for Springfield. And I want to check the other days. Tuesday's not going to be big at all, so I wouldn't worry about Tuesday. But still keep an eye on it, just in case. And then Wednesday, I'd watch Wednesday closely. I can't give you much info on Wednesday. I don't want to give you something that's going to change tomorrow, so just make sure you're hyper weather aware Wednesday and late tomorrow night. I'd still keep an eye on Tuesday, just in case. Just in case. Let's see here. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah. Drew said it. The flood risk. I'm pretty sure we're at a moderate today. Yes. So we're at a moderate out there in Houston. Let me go ahead and switch it all over here. So, unfortunately, Houston and areas north of Houston have been experiencing one of, if not the biggest, flood events in years to decades out in that area. Probably ever since, oh, was it Harvey? Let's see. Harvey. Yep. Probably since Harvey, really. Harvey seems like it's, this is really like at the level of Harvey here. Because I've gotten multiple reports of just ridiculous flooding. I mean, houses completely submerged underwater. I don't know exactly how much rain has fallen in that area. I can quickly take a look here. My word. Jeez, a lot. You're talking like 24 inches of rain plus over the last week. So just been an absolute atrocious few days out there. Last week out there in Texas. It really started on the day. Oh, geez, what day was that? Hold on, we're gonna go look at it because I can remember the day that it really all kicked off out there. That was April 28th is when it really kicked off. So you got the 28th was ridiculous flooding, 29th, 30th, the 1st of May, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and I believe tomorrow it's finally going to calm down and they should see at least some relief in the sense of just drier weather as a whole. Yeah, it's a big line. This looks like a big scary line of ridiculous, significant, severe weather, but to be real, if we switch to the instability, the only place that would most likely see severe weather out of that is just right out in front of it, right here. Which is also visible from the SPC outlook, too. You can see they have that slight risk. So even though it looks like a big, scary, ridiculous line of damaging winds, a lot of it would be sub-severe, meaning it'd be more of a line of rain and not a line of wind. At least at that particular time frame, which was 11 p.m. Eastern. Let's see here. Yeah. I don't know if it will go high, but like Norman said, be hyperweather aware regardless. I've heard different opinions, but I asked this because I was just wondering. So yeah, Norman, um, they said it's not off the table for it to go high risk, which once a risk goes moderate, it never is completely off the table for a high risk because you never know what trends may occur in the morning and the afternoon hours. But regardless of if it stays moderate or if it goes high risk, you need to be hyper weather aware regardless. Legacy, I'm unsure. I can't really tell you a solid time for that. It would probably. I just don't want to give you anything that's going to be completely changing a bunch here. Let me see if I can at least give you something. I don't know if I can even give you anything here at all. How far does this go out? This goes out to not even Monday. Wow. Okay, so that's useless. It would probably be nocturnal out there, to be honest. All right. So we'll just keep an eye on it. Let's see here. We'll see what happens, y'all. We'll be live for a very, very long time tomorrow. So the thing about that is, I'm actually, I know for a fact, I know for a fact, Kansas and Nebraska are going to be overlooked tomorrow. We definitely have a very real potential to see strong tornadoes out here. Maybe even a long tracked one as well, just because of the semi discrete motion of these storms. It depends on how semi-discrete they are. So some models show a line. If that happens, your strong tornado threat is going to be pretty much out the window. But if we see more of what the HRRR shows here, which is a semi-discrete, then we would have a more of a tornado threat there. So we'll keep a very close eye on it, and we'll see what happens. But it's either going to go one or the other. We're either going to have like the potential for near 90-mile-an-hour winds, which would be insane, or strong tornadoes. Now, we already have the potential for 80-mile-an-hour winds, regardless of which mode happens. But if it goes linear, then that wind threat's going to increase more. But if it stays towards more of the semi-discrete ones, then it's going to be on all hazards that there. And just a bit less of a wind threat, but still near 80-mile-an-hour winds. Let's see here. Man. Tomorrow has one of the best environments I think I've seen. Like, the potential tomorrow is going to be extremely high end. But it's just a matter of if we see stormed fire in that or not. So we'll see. But I mean, the environment is just over the top. It is just over the top. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I could just look at the... Like, everything's going to be off the charts here. Like, look at that. I don't know if I've ever seen that color on this color table before. That is... What's the max? I think it's like 20. Yeah, 20. I don't know if I've ever seen that pink color on significant tornado parameters. Man. Like I said, I'm really I'm expecting them to extend that moderate risk towards Tulsa. To be honest, at this point, I'd be a bit surprised if we don't see a moderate that goes out down towards like this area. I'd be surprised if we don't see a moderate much larger. I don't really think that moderate's going to go far into central Kansas. Just because we're more confident in a linear line towards central Kansas. But I mean, we could see a big moderate like the size of this here. Like, it would not surprise me at all. Because the environment inside that whole area that I just drew is just absolutely absurd. From every model. I mean, it's not like one model's just painting a crazy environment. I mean, it's the WRAP, the NAM 3K, the HRRR. I want to see even the GFS, which is a global model, which typically isn't going to pick up too well on the environment. When it's less than 72 hours out, you typically don't want to use your GFS model anymore. But even that is picking up on a very volatile environment for all hazards. I mean, just a ridiculous profile. Ridiculous profile. Very close to, if not perfect, sounding. Absolutely, absolutely crazy. Now, one thing I haven't looked at is Wednesday's environment for soundings. I do want to pull one of those. I pulled like one before stream, but I didn't pull like a lot. I want to pull like a bunch of them. Let me close out all these different ones here. I want to pull a sounding out here towards... Let's pull a couple. Let's pull one in Northeast Missouri, Central Illinois. 2 there at about 5 p.m. Then we'll pull another at 5 p.m. in Central Arkansas. Then we'll go into the nighttime hours. We'll pull one in Central Indiana. We'll pull one in Northern Kentucky. This is at 11 p.m. And another one at Tennessee. And let's see what we get. Thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Oh, okay. Well, that's ridiculous. Oh, okay, that's ridiculous. Ooh, drier air intrusion in the mid-level. That's towards, this is in Arkansas. So that could, actually inhibit some storm development there. Okay, Central Indiana, kind of crazy. Okay, Northern Kentucky. Holy crap. Further south, it looks to be a capping in place. Hold on, let's look at that. Okay, hold on. Let's pull it one frame back in that case, then. Let's pull it one frame back out here. Ah, shoot. I closed the wrong one. I want to get this right there. There we go. Totally not cherry picking. No, I'm not cherry picking. You are. Just a ridiculous environment. I mean, gracious day. My word. All of these are so ridiculously good. Especially this one and this one. These two are absurd. That is crazy. Those are really, really good. So we'll keep an eye on the model runs. I'll keep y'all posted on what they keep showing. Keep in mind that this is just a model, so the chance of it actually occurring is very slim. Excuse me. Man. There has been 1, 2, 3, 4 moderates. 5 now. We are on the 5th moderate risk of 2024, which is absurd. And Wednesday is probably going to be another competitor for another high-end day. I'm not sure, Ben. I'm not sure. The potential is definitely higher than that of the 27th. This potential looks more of like what the 26th was, but a lot less confidence on the storm coverage in the moderate. So I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I wish I could just see the future and then tell you if it would be or not. But tomorrow is going to be a massive day, regardless. Let's see. Could my day be a high risk? What's the point in asking that? What's the point in asking that? It's not like I have the SPC's script for tomorrow or something. What's the point? Let's see here. Will Wednesday go enhanced? Again, what's the point? I think it will, but I'm not the SPC, so I can't tell you that it will, but I believe it has a very good chance of doing so. Let's see here. Wow. Let me see. Let me see what the AFD and Norman says about this, because Norman's typically quite over the top here. Norman's like one of the best offices out there. Significant long track tornadoes and softball-sized tail. Well, shoot, I'm only one paragraph in. It's freaking one sentence. First sentence. Very large hail softball and significant long track tornadoes. Well, dang. Right to the point there. Right to the point, huh? Didn't even get to scroll down at all. Thank you for subscribing, much appreciated. So other than that, I don't see anything that really sticks out. Flash flooding might be an issue. Strongly unstable, highly sheared environment. Environment capable of producing very large, extremely large hail. Long track, strong tornadoes. Straight to the point. And Wichita also is known to be similar. All right. Well, with theirs, the first thing I see is fog. Well, rainfall and then fog. Let's go down here. Oh, right. Yes. High-end event, even historic severe weather and tornado events is what the environment seems. Is what the environment will be like. High-end to even historic environment. Basically, the environment's going to be capable of producing ridiculous stuff. We'll keep an eye on it. What's the source of what? What's the source of what? I don't know what that is. Don't know what that means. Thank you for the $1 dono. Much appreciated. That is greatly appreciated. Let me go down here more. What's the source? The freaking National Weather Service area forecast discussion of Norman and Wichita, too. The historic was Wichita. The strong, long track tornadoes was Norman. No. I was quoting Norman. Yeah. No, my source is radar indicated, Ben. That's my source. It's radar indicated. So this is in Ohio. Let me bring y'all over here. Yeah, so your threat's gonna be on Wednesday, for sure. Wednesday's gonna be your highest threat for severe weather. And maybe even Tuesday as well. Tuesday, right now you're in a really good chance on Tuesday, but to be honest, I really feel like Wednesday's gonna be your better shot. So, I would definitely keep a very close eye on Wednesday the most. What does high ceiling mean? It means, a high end, strong tornadoes, strong to violent tornadoes, long track strong tornadoes, 4-inch hail, 80-mile-an-hour winds, whole bunch of fun stuff like that. Yeah, for sure, Donna, for sure. So first we got to take it one day at a time. So we're definitely more focused on Monday right now and seeing what Monday will be like. But I mean, Wednesday looks ridiculous. We've been talking about Wednesday for forever. Wednesday was one of the first days we even saw on the models, and then Monday snuck on in there. So I still see Monday or Wednesday is the bigger opportunity. Okay. Monday, right now, is the highest threat out of the 4 days, which includes today. But Wednesday looks to be higher potential than tomorrow. It's just a matter of if that potential stays on the model runs long enough to the point where we think it's going to occur. Because right now there's uncertainty on exactly what might occur on that day. So we'll just have to see. It's still 4 days out. That's plenty of time for models to change. But I mean, it's a ridiculous environment on all the model runs. Um, let's see here. I think Monday is worse out of the days in my opinion. Right now, yeah, Monday's definitely the higher in threat. But that is only because it's the closest day. We'll have to see if Wednesday is right there with it. Let's see here. So we'll keep an eye on the SPC outlooks. Our next live stream will be coverage tomorrow, right about 3 p.m. Eastern. Let's see here. Yeah. Wednesday's tricky. I really, I really hate to say this, because it's going to make some people not so happy. But Wednesday's primary threat looks to be nocturnal. It looks to be late evening into the dead of overnight hours. So that's gonna be fun. I didn't know we were back in freaking second season October. I wish I had like a model that, like a cam model that went out really far. That'd be very nice. But the thing about cam models is they got to be close range. And that's what makes them accurate. Man. Yeah, I would be shocked if we don't see an enhanced risk tomorrow for day 3, which would be Wednesday. Because like this whole area, just looking at models, like this whole area here has like ridiculous strong tornado potential. I don't actually know what they're calling for right now, but on the models, it is like over the top. Let's see. Confidence in a corridor remains too low to introduce an enhanced risk at this time. Well, shoot. How much more confidence do you need? Because, like, all the models agree. Like, you got the NAM model that agrees with the GFS, the GFS that agrees with the RAP that agrees with the, I don't know. I'm sure the European could be thrown in here, too. Yep. Kind of agrees with the European. European's a bit weird. It is. The European model's a little bit weird there. I'm not sure how much more confidence you need. Maybe confidence on exactly where that warm sector sets up, but there's definitely enough confidence to introduce a very broad enhanced risk over like in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee. Like there's plenty enough confidence over all the models. So I'm surprised. The good news for you, Girl Dev, I'm hoping and praying that it's going to be further off to your south. It's really going to be a last minute ordeal, to be honest. Because it's an embedded shortwave, and if that shortwave is a little bit further north, you're going to be in the primary threat. But if it's further to the south, you're not going to see much of anything. So, I really hope it will be further to your south. Let's see here. Oklahoma, yeah, all of Oklahoma, except for the panhandles and the risk. So here's your main risk tomorrow in that level 3 and especially that level 4. But I mean, like I said, everybody, even into the panhandle, is inside that risk for severe weather. So pretty much if you're in Guyman pointing west, that's the only place that's not inside some area of severe weather potential tomorrow, which is this small corridor here. And then the rest of Oklahoma is inside a risk. What are we thinking for Central Arkansas this week? Thank you for the $2 sticker. And as for Arkansas, the main day for Arkansas is probably gonna. It's tricky to say which one's gonna be higher than the other right now. But to be honest, Tuesday, Wednesday are the same risk areas. So right now, it looks like Wednesday just because the entire state of Arkansas is under that slight risk. So I would definitely be keeping a very, very close eye on Wednesday. I can't give you like an in-depth forecast to it because we're not close enough for me to show you that. But definitely watching Wednesday the most here. Abilene, Texas, you are good to go. I don't believe you've been introduced to anything. Yeah, you're good to go in Abilene. Abilene. I think I'm saying that right. Let's see. Um, Eastern Kentucky on Wednesday. Probably I mean, you're definitely in the risk for severe weather. If you're in Eastern Kentucky, you're definitely in the risk, but the main risk will probably end up being off to the west, somewhere out towards more of Western Kentucky, Central Western Tennessee, Southern Indiana, Southwest Ohio, Southern Illinois, Southeast Missouri, Eastern Arkansas, Northern Mississippi, Northwest Alabama. So I'll keep an eye on it. I will keep an eye on it for sure. Let's see here. Make sure this is muted whilst I look at what this shows here. Man. So we'll keep an eye on it, y'all. Regardless, we'll be here tomorrow for way too many hours. Like I said, 10 plus hours. I'll probably start off the stream, like I mentioned, about 3 p.m. We'll go all the way till near midnight. And, of course, we'll have a chaser for tomorrow as well. Lazy Cat, thank you for subscribing. So much information. Yeah. Yep. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. That's why I like to take it one day at a time. Which is why I'm really focused on tomorrow. But I mean, I can't just focus on tomorrow because if I just look at tomorrow, then guess what? Tuesday's going to sneak up on us. And then if I just look at Tuesday, then Wednesday's going to sneak up on us. And I'm also keeping an eye on Thursday as well. The main area I'm watching for Thursday is somewhere in this general vicinity here, wherever a shortwave could set up generally in that area for Thursday. And then another region I'm watching is back out to the east northeast. Probably generally right in right here. Right here. I'm trying to draw it off of this general vicinity. So some like generally that area for Thursday as well. Which would include me. I'm right out there. It's not my exact location, but generally right out there. I'm just waiting for the NAM model to render in for Thursday, which will happen a little bit today, but mainly tomorrow. Our chaser is Connor Croft. That's our chaser. Connor Croft. His channel is actually the first, second, third, fourth link in the description now. Fourth link in the description. I keep adding more and more things, so he just keeps going further and further down in the description. But then I also follow the Weed Whacker. The Weed Whacker himself. Reed Timmer. Reed Timmer. Which he's pretty easy to find. It's a bit difficult to miss the Weed Whacker. Let's see here. Just stay weather girl dev. Like I said, there's still a lot of stuff that's gonna change. It could change for the worse, but hopefully it changes for the better, and you get outside that area for severe potential on Wednesday. I know you're well into that 15% right now. Let's see. What are you talking about with all the days? Yeah. All right. Yeah, Reed's crazy. He will go inside a tornado in a freaking rental car. So, dude's got something that I've never heard of before. I think it's called just, let's see, how do I word this? A ridiculous degree in meteorology. No, it's his instincts. He's got ridiculously good instincts. Yeah, Connor is going out to OKC right now. That's where he's headed. Um, so he's driving all the way from, geez, like Southwest Texas to OKC. I don't know exactly where he is at this moment. Let's see here. But he's definitely going to be out there. I can tell you that. All right. So you're in Arkansas Wednesday. I don't even have to look. Wednesday's going to be your main day for severe weather. Um, but the main hazards are still unclear. But there's a good chance it's going to be all threats there. All hazards. Can we see him? You'll be able to tomorrow. He's not up and running right now. He's just traveling. So are you saying that there's a possibility of strong tornadoes in Lincoln, Nebraska, or is it more west? It's more south. It's more south in Lincoln, Nebraska. Oops, didn't even mean to click that. So if you're just tuning in, I'll go over all the risks again here. So today we've got a slight risk for severe weather. That threat's really almost over. We've got 25 more minutes of the watch, and then the day's pretty much done for severe weather today. Tomorrow's our main day for severe weather. As of now, we've got the large marginal risk in effect, large slight risk in effect, and large enhanced risk in effect, and large moderate risk in effect as well. So we've got level 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's not forget also, I forgot this one, the risk 0.5 up here. So we also got the 0.5 in that light green, the level 1 in the dark green, level 2 in the yellow, level 3 in the orange, level 4 in the dark red. All hazards are going to be possible, including long track strong tornadoes, possibly even a violent tornado. Damaging winds or rather around the realms of, if not slightly greater than 80 miles per hour, specifically focused out towards the Wichita up through the Kansas City area. This is for tomorrow still. Damaging hail, 4-inch in diameter, possibly even greater than that, in and around the Norman area, pointing up towards Wichita, back out west, near the Woodward, Oklahoma region as well. Day 3, we've got a large slight risk and marginal risk, which is level 1 and a level 2 here as of now. This will probably eventually be upgraded to a enhanced risk for severe weather, but right now Tuesday doesn't look all that interesting. We'll see what happens by the time we roll around to Tuesday. And then one of the most, if not the most interesting day, in my opinion, looks to be Wednesday, where we could have widespread significant severe weather being a possibility out there. I can teach you how to read soundings, at least somewhat. I'm not completely experienced in them, but I can at least give you a rundown of the basics. We'll just pull a crazy one out here in... well, that's going to be a garbage sounding because the capping decides to be completely in place, so that's going to be fun. Dude, what is the NAM doing? Oh. Y'all saw nothing. Y'all saw nothing. I wasn't on the wrong day. I wasn't on the wrong day. Nope. I was so confused for a second. Yeah, so... Yeah, we'll choose. Which one looks better? We could just do both of them. So right off the bat, the first thing you want to do is just ignore this. You can color it in if you want. I love to do it because I don't want to look at that ever. Right when I open the sounding, there's a lot of things that I look at really quick. I look at this, the wind barbs here, varying with height is what I like to say. So basically, this pretend that this is like the atmosphere, because that's what it is. So this is your surface, this is towards your mid-level, and this is your upper level here. So your lower level jet, you've got your surface, your lower level jet, mid-level, upper level, and then, wow, why are you even looking up here? Level. So basically, near the surface, your winds are going to be going out of the north, going to south here. So basically, as a storm grows, it's going to be turning with height, allowing for rotation to occur. And you can really tell that the varying is very strong on this sounding just by looking at the wind shear. So the wind shear is right in this area. Same ordeal. So you've got the surface to 1 kilometer here. So your surface is, of course, down here. Your 1 kilometer, I forgot exactly where it is. It should be, yeah, right here. So there's your 1 kilometer. And then you also have your surface to 3 kilometer, which is, again, surface, but this time to the 3 kilometer mark. So that is absurd. For this, what you want to look at for the 0 to 1 kilometer is you want to have 26 knot shear or greater and 150 meters second squared or greater. So with this case, we've got 407, which is like almost triple the amount that we need. And the knots is at 36, which is 11 more than what I like to see. 25 knot wind shear typically is favorable of significant tornadoes, all hazards as well. And then in the surface to 3 kilometer range, I like to see 30 knots. I like this to be 30 knots and this to be about 200, which you can see we're at 591 and 60 knots. So we're more than double on both of those. And something that we've really seen in 2024 is the lapse rates have been lacking. So here's your lapse rates. Whenever we talk about lapse rates on a sounding, that's where I'm looking right down here. So a solid lapse rates typically are 7 or greater. I like to see 8 for large hail, but in 2024, beggars can't be choosers. I like to see 7 for severe potential. So this is really good. This isn't going to be an issue. Lapse rates aren't going to be an issue at this exact time, which is, man, that's pretty late for lapse rates to be that pretty good there. I mean, that's kind of crazy. But that's actually 11 o'clock at night, so that's pretty good for 11 o'clock lapse rates. That is really good. Then you have your food for the storms, your surface instability here, or generally you could just look at your instability as a whole. So for instability, it depends on the time, not only the time of day, but more importantly, the time of the year. So this is May. So for May, I like to see 2,000 plus. This is at 4,100. But storms can easily still fire in May with 1,000 instability. And then in the wintertime, they actually don't need anything more than about 500 to get going. So it does depend on the time of year as well. And then this is your capping. Whenever we talk about a lid over the atmosphere, we're looking at the SIN, the capping, which there's not much present at all with this. Negative 27 storms, most likely, that's not going to stop storms from really doing anything. So that's really perfectly fine. And here's your temperatures and dew points. Now this is like the same. So this must be like 72 over 72 over here. So that's really good. Dew points, I typically look for 60 plus. We're at 72. Temperatures, I really just look for anything greater than like 65, 70. And this is at like 70. So it's pretty rare to see temperatures be an issue. I really don't see it that common where temperatures are an issue, unless the temperatures are too high and the moisture is too low. So if you have a temperature dew point spread of 20, storms are going to be elevated. So basically, if it's 10, which I consider is the perfect amount, is like, so for instance, 62 over 72, that's 72 temperatures, 62 dews is like the perfect amount. Or you could even do 75 over 65. It's still really good. So this isn't going to be an issue at all. But say this was, I don't know, 72 over, geez, 92, right? So that would be, your storms would be more of elevated. So your surface would be here. Your cloud structures would probably be more elevated. I don't know exactly where the cloud structures would be on this particular graph. We'll just go with right here. But if we were closer with a 10-degree dew point spread, they would be closer to the surface, allowing for, it would be easier for tornadoes to form and all hazards as well, but specifically the tornado side of things. And then this is your skew T right here. This just shows you the atmosphere with height. So this is, again, your surface level, your 0 to 1 kilometer, 0 to 3 kilometers, 0 to 6 kilometers, 0 to 9 kilometers, 0 to 12 kilometers, 0 to 15 kilometer. So that's just with height. So your moisture as you go up in the atmosphere. And this is what we call a dry slot right here. This area is a dry slot. This favors a ridiculous hail. So this is a classic sounding of where you're probably going to have a risk for near 4-inch hail. Hence why we have that moderate risk out in this area for 4-inch hail. But there has been issues in 2024 where your drier slot actually just straight up becomes drier air in the lower levels. So if that dry slot was here, that's going to inhibit storms. They'll try to fire and they'll not be able to get going. They won't be able to get going because there'll be dry air where they still need to thrive. But with the drier air up here, the storm's already firing. They're already good to go. So that drier air is actually going to act as more of a kind of a nitro for these storms, for instance. It's just going to go boom, and then it just explodes. So that's actually going to favor all hazards. But if that dry slot was about the 750 millibar range or less, it would be a big issue for the thunderstorms. But because it's above that 750, 700 millibar line, it's actually going to be really, really useful for thunderstorms to develop. And then this is your instability. You can see you have plenty of instability between your actually, I don't know which one's your instability on this particular one. On pivotal, typically this is your instability, and then you do that between this one too. So you're gonna have a lot of instability regardless. But I don't know what it is on College of Dew page actually. Then here's one of the more important things: your hodograph. So the main thing is your skew T and your hodograph. Skew T's over here, hodographs over here, and then all the other more in-depth stuffs down here. You've got your analogs. Analogs are basically what the sounding compares to for previous events. And you can see we only have one of those, and that's a significant supercell that occurred back on freaking May 8th, 2003. So a little while ago. Your hodograph, basically what I like to think of it, is how storms are going to look once storms fire. So I forgot exactly how to describe this more in depth, but basically, this hodograph, just imagine as a storm. So it's just going to curve right around, and then boom, you're going to have supercells. So basically, that's a classic hodograph. But you really, if you're wanting tornadoes, you want to see that turning with the hodograph. That means there's a veering with height there. So that is a really good hodograph as well. So yeah, there's your little quick rundown. They're definitely not the easiest stuff to understand. But yeah, I know the basics of them, so I can read them. At least somewhat read them. Man, I talk too much. Let's see here. Man, oh man. So yeah, y'all make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that like button, share this stream with your family, friends, social media. We are 21 likes away from 200 likes on this live stream. That'd be great if we could hit it. And we're far past our sub goal, but we're only 23 subscribers away from our milestone for May. Like what? We're only 5 days into May, and we're about to hit our milestone for May. We might even have to up that to 6K, but 5.5K was our milestone for May. I have to keep changing my milestone because we keep hitting it too early. Like we're over here 25 days off, and we hit the milestone. We'll probably hit it tomorrow. Let's see here. Interesting. So we'll keep an eye on it. We will see. Was there a tornado last night or today in Fort Steele, Oklahoma, Lawton area? Definitely not. Unless it hasn't been reported or observed or something, no. Matter of fact, the only tornado that's been observed was in freaking Ohio yesterday. What? At 7:38? What? Okay. I didn't see that. That just happened. That just got confirmed for some odd reason. I didn't even notice that. Did not even notice that. Let me go up here real quick. What did I just get? Okay. Soundings for Western Tennessee. So I don't like to pull soundings that often. Really, when I pull soundings, it's really just for fun, to be honest, just to see what those absurd models are showing. But the only soundings I really trust, like properly trust, are the observed soundings from the weather balloons that we get about every 6 hours. But they launch, I don't even know, like 50 some weather balloons every 12 hours or so. 12Z00Z. But I mean, I could still get one for Western Tennessee, so we'll do it on what I think will be the prime, which is Wednesday evening into Wednesday night. But take it with a grain of salt. Wow. Wow, look at those analogs. That's a whole heck load of analogs, buddy. Jeez. Well, there's your sounding. It is very much over the top. That is just from one model run, though. So, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. But, I mean, that is a loaded gun sounding right there. If that was an observed sounding, I would be astonished there. So, we'll keep an eye on it. And, we'll see. We'll see, but this is Wednesday. Like I said, I think that's going to be a pretty loaded gun sounding. A pretty loaded day, too, for severe potential. Will tomorrow be anything like Friday? Oh, no, not at all. Friday was ridiculous. We're not going to be looking at that type of crazy threat. East Tennessee, I don't expect too much. The best shot for severe weather will definitely be Western going into Central Tennessee. Eastern Tennessee still needs to be hyper weather aware for Wednesday, but I don't expect that to be the prime day. Or the prime area. Oh, yeah, also never listen to that. What Ninja just pointed out. Never listen to the possible or potential hazard type. See, we like to take that out. Ta-da, now you don't see it. Oh, shoot, now you do. I like to always cover that up. But regardless, I mean, that's actually pretty realistic because this definitely would be favorable for strong tornadoes, unfortunately. But still, I don't recommend looking at that or listening to it ever. Man. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Tomorrow has, yet again, solid potential to go high risk. I said it. It does have good potential. The more I've looked at it, the more I've gotten input from my friends, the more I've seen from the community, and the more models I look at, the more I'm being convinced we could see a small high tomorrow. Especially if we see if tomorrow at 3 p.m. If tomorrow at 3 p.m. we have a massive CU filled out here, I would be blown away if they don't issue a high risk, because that's the number one question for tomorrow is how much storm coverage will we see. So if there's just like, one bubbler here, they'll probably still keep it moderate. But if we see like a broad area of severe development being possible tomorrow at 3 p.m., I would not be blown away. I would not be blown away if they issue a high. I set it on the 27th. I set it for the 27th, and that ended up going ridiculous. So I'm definitely not, like the SPC obviously makes that call. But I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised by it. And I would definitely be hyper weather aware. Like I said, it doesn't really matter if it's a moderate or a high risk, because both risks mean to be extremely weather aware. Even if we stay moderate, we're still going to have the potential for long track strong to potentially violent tornadoes. The main difference that a high risk would make would just be the higher confidence of a tornado outbreak expected. If we went high risk, it would change, the wording. We would go from a few strong long track tornadoes with a violent tornado possible to multiple long track tornadoes and a tornado outbreak expected. So it really just changed the wording and the confidence of things. But I mean, it's going to really come down to the storm coverage. It's going to come down to the storm coverage. Drew, if we manage to see a high risk, it's definitely not off the table at all. Most likely what they would end up doing, just based off of what I've seen on previous outlooks, they would most likely expand that moderate just a tad bit west, quite considerably further to the north, and then back down off to the east, maybe even bigger, off to the southeast towards like Tulsa. And then they would most likely add probably a high risk right where that moderate is, to be honest. Like right here would actually be right where a solid high risk. I wouldn't be surprised if they put a high risk right there. So from like Wichita down to OKC. A nice good old classic bullseye for you. Especially since we're looking at a day 2 moderate. Day 2 is definitely on the rare side, but I mean, this is the third day 2 moderate we've seen this year, so it's really not anything historic for the outlook wise, because we've seen it, like I said, three times already. But that's just my thoughts. I just wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised with a high risk, but by no means am I the SPC. I'm not the SPC, so yeah, it's all up to what the SPC thinks, and more specifically, what the environment looks like in the afternoon hours. If they're going to pull it, if they were going to pull it, it would probably be last second 4 p.m. update. It would probably be last second 4 p.m. update. That's where we have the best shot of seeing a high risk, is the 4 p.m. update tomorrow afternoon, which will be live for that. So if they manage to pull a high risk, we'll see it get issued. But I will say this, if they plan on issuing a high risk, there's a pretty good chance that they will end up issuing an MCD for it. Most of the time, that's what we see. About an hour or so, 30 minutes to an hour before the outlook, they'll say, whatever they may say, tornado-driven high risk at 20Z outlook, or next outlook cycle. What time will the storms fire tomorrow? So we're going to see storms in western Kansas fire off at about 2 p.m. Maybe as late as 3 p.m. right around there. We'll be live at 3. But the main moderate risk area storms are going to fire about 4 or 5 p.m. Thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. This has been our most successful live briefing on the channel. This has been our most successful live briefing on the channel by far. So I thank you guys, every last one of you guys, for supporting the briefing. If you're just tuning in, we're not going to close out stream just yet, but I highly suggest watching my video that I uploaded earlier today. You guys already pushed that out to the algorithm. Already 1,000 people have watched that. So overall, we're nearing 10,000 people watched today. 10,000 people who've watched some sort of content off of this channel. And I could only hope tomorrow is going to be bigger. But honestly, like, I don't know. 8,000 people? That's crazy. That is crazy. So, yeah. The next outlook for tomorrow is going to be at like 2 a.m. I'm not going to stay up for that. I'm actually going to go to sleep early tonight. So that way I could have, you know, some energy for tomorrow. Ooh, wow. It's impressive. So yeah, I'm going to go to sleep early tonight. That way I have a lot of energy for tomorrow because I have no idea how late I'll stay up. No idea. Lawton, I've already said that like 5 times. Oh, on Wednesday. Tomorrow it's going to be bad, but on Wednesday I don't think you're going to get much. Yeah, no, you're clear for the rest of the, I believe the rest of the week. Yeah. Tomorrow's your only day and it's a big day. Isn't that now, Caleb? Didn't it just turn to 7? Pretty sure it's 7 o'clock now for you. Thursday is still up in the air for a chase. It still looks good enough for my liking of a chase day. So we're still split on a chase for Thursday. But I'll definitely consider there's a pretty good chance Thursday is going to be a chase day. The only thing that's going to depend off of is how high in the risk is in Louisiana. All right, y'all. I'm going to take just a brief break. I'll be back in just about 60 seconds. Whilst I'm gone, make sure you guys are sharing the stream. Hit the like button. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back. Alrighty, so let me go ahead and turn on my camera. Let's see, I want to take a sounding out towards Lucky's area for Thursday. What'd you say, Catman? Oh, you're talking to Caleb. Yeah, never believe a North Carolina, Virginia risk at all, so I'm not even gonna look at that, to be honest. All right, let me go see this real quick. Okay. So we're gonna keep an eye on this, these models. We're gonna get new information in about an hour. We won't be live for that rendering in. At least I don't plan on it. Let's see. So here's our current subscriber count. I don't know when I'm going to end here. It's probably going to be pretty soon. I may try to live stream on X out of all places. I may try to stream on X out of all places. So if y'all follow me over there, same as here at TRG Tornado. I might or might not live stream over there tonight. I'll see. I'll see if I can get it set up. But that's our current subscriber count, 5,485. So 5 away from our 200 likes there. And we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow holds for severe weather. I do want to check the crazy model run real quick. I'll just leave y'all on that subscriber count forever. I want to check the ridiculous model run real quick for tomorrow. The RRFSA model. Yep, seems about right. Oh, wow. It doesn't even convect in Oklahoma. Jeez. It doesn't even show a single supercell fire in Oklahoma at all. That in itself is impressive for the RRFS model. Yeah, and then Tuesday's risk is so isolated. Have I seen the twisted update? What type of question is that? Of course I've seen it. Of course I've seen it, yes. So, yeah, in 15 minutes, we're going to conclude. You know, I know we have a lot of people watching 150. That's like the most we've had in a long time, but you know, there's not a whole lot to go over. If it was coverage, I'd stay live. So I just hope that most of y'all will tune into tomorrow's stream. And if you don't, that's perfectly fine. Just please make sure you have other ways to receive watches warnings and even other people who go live on YouTube. Like I said, don't just depend off of me because I'm human too. I'm not going to be covering the risk for the entire day tomorrow, but I will cover most of it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably miss the first hour of storm initiation, and then we'll probably whatchamacallit thingamabobby. I can't think. I can't think. I cannot think. Let's see here. 199 likes. Let's see if we can hit 200. We'll try to hit our subscriber goal tomorrow, which I don't even know the subscriber count we were on today. It just goes so quick. I can't even keep up. You guys support the channel so much. I can't even keep up with my own subscriber goal. I swear I was at like 5,350 like yesterday. Right? I swear we like just hit 5,300. Let me look at this. Yeah. Yeah, we gained 60 subs in today's stream. That is crazy. So, before we start, before we head off here in about 15 minutes or so, 13, make sure you guys have hit that like button and shared the channel with your family, friends, social media, as many people as you can share it. That is what matters the utmost and is very, very important. Thank you to everybody who's stuck in towards the end of the live stream. Stay here till the end. If you're just tuning in, I highly recommend you watch my video that I uploaded earlier today at 4 o'clock. So that way you can get the latest information in about 10 minutes. Rather than watching the entire, 2.5 hour live stream here. We'll be live for 10 plus hours tomorrow. So don't worry, we'll be here for sure. I do not know if Lucky will be joining me. I do not know. If not, I have 2 other people who I might include on the stream. We'll see. Check Social Blade. I don't like Social Blade. Alrighty. So I'll be live on X probably in not too long from now, to be honest. That's at TRG Tornado on Twitter. We'll just be live for about an hour over there. If I can set it up, we'll see if I can set it up properly or not. That's what I'm going to try to do for the next 30 minutes. So, yeah. That's going to be it for today's live stream, y'all. One last look for anyone who might be tuning in and doesn't want to go watch the video, which, again, I highly suggest it. It's a fast 10-minute video going over everything we went over in the last 2 hours and 20 minutes. Nothing's really left today. Isolated severe storm out here in the southern portion of Texas. Tomorrow, all hazard significant tornadoes, long tracked possible, possibly even a violent tornado. Damaging winds near and around the realms of 80 miles per hour, large hail, about 4-inch in diameter. And Tuesday, main risk area for Tuesday is probably going to be, according to newer models I've seen, probably up in this area here is what I'm looking at. Right now we have a broad 15% chance for severe weather. We're not expecting at the time significant severe weather for Tuesday. Wednesday we are anticipating significant severe weather, generally in and around this 15% yellow area for severe weather potential on the day 4 outlook for Wednesday. Thursday we don't have any area highlighted, but I'm quite confident we're going to see at least a slight risk somewhere out here, and maybe a marginal or a slight somewhere out here in the mid-Atlantic out towards my neck of the woods. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the hail outlook here. Preferably for tomorrow, not for today. Uh-oh, I can't close it. Oh, come on. Perfectly. Look, I can't close it. Radar Omega, help. I can't close it. There's nothing I can do. It's literally gonna be stuck open. Okay, we'll just do this. Like that. Ta-da. Ta-da. I knew how to fix that. Totally forgot that I could just change the product. Totally. No, I remembered that. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's go for the 12Z. Dew points. I like to loop this, so... Yeah, main day right now, by far, is tomorrow. We've got that 45 sig hail thread out. One last look at our subscriber count here. I like to do this just at the end of all the live streams. We're at 5,487 subscribers. If you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button with the notification bell set to all. That's very important too. Make sure you hit the bell and set it to all. That way you know when I go live tomorrow, which should be around 3 p.m. Eastern. Also, make sure you have hit the like button on today's stream. It's still, I mean, even after I'm done the live stream, it's still going to push it out to a couple hundred more people, probably 200-300 more people. And it will still be valid information all the way until tomorrow morning at like 6 a.m. or so. And yeah, share this channel with your family, friends, social media, as many people as you can share it to. Share it and follow me on all my socials. First link in the description. I've got my my link tree there, so you can join the Discord server. You can join our live stream on X here in about, I don't know, 50 minutes. And fourth link is Connor's feed, Connor's channel, which, you know, we use his feed for storm chasing. You can go give him a follow too. We'll be using his live feed on YouTube tomorrow, which he'll probably end up seeing a tornado, knowing Connor. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, I will not be seeing that that pink Sharpie tomorrow. But you never know. You never know what might be pulled out, especially if oh geez, what's his name? What's his name gets a hold of the Outlook? I forgot who. Let's see, where is he? Did he issue any of these Outlooks? No, these are all. No, he's not here. I'm sure weather enthusiasts know what I'm talking about. Yes, yes, him, Fez, yes. Royals, yep. If he gets a hold of it, it's probably gonna go pink Sharpie. So, yeah, that's gonna be it, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to switch to the ending screen here shortly. No membership giveaways for quite a hot minute. We won't have any of those probably until, I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at when I gifted them, so that way I know when to gift them next. But those won't be for at minimum of another 20 days. I'm from Southern Virginia, Southside Virginia, near Pennsylvania County. Yeah. I'm like Western Pennsylvania County. So I'll be out there chasing Thursday most likely. But yeah, that is gonna be it, y'all. Massive shout out to the mods, Caleb, Catman, Brooklyn, for modding the chat. It was greatly appreciated. I don't know if Blondie tuned in today, but if she did, and even if she didn't, thank you for modding the chat. Caleb too. I don't know if I said Caleb, but thank you, Caleb, for modding the chat. You're a new mod on the channel. Don't make any mistakes. I mean, great modding today. Good job. And that is going to be about it. Let's see here. All right, there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and close out all this stuff. And let me grab this real quick. It's going to be this one. So we'll be live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, around that time frame, 3 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, or rather Tuesday, we'll be live again, probably later on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I don't know. I don't know about Wednesday. Who knows when we'll be live that day. We'll just be live when we're live. That's it. We'll be live when we're live. So, oh, hey, yeah, Legacy too. Thank you for minding the chat. Oh, and all of our super chatters today too. People who have donated. We've got Coffin, or Johnston. Let's see. Jessica and Kazo. Not sure how you'd like for me to pronounce that one. Because I'm terrible at pronouncing. I'm a weather enthusiast. I don't know how to pronounce stuff, so. Alrighty. I did not forget Legacy, don't worry. So that's going to be it, y'all. We're going to head to our ending screen now. I'll see you guys. If you follow me on X, I'll see you on X in just a little bit. At TRG Tornado on X/Twitter. You can just click the first link in the description on my link tree. And then that'll take you to all my socials. And you can just click on the Twitter page there. So, yeah, that is going to be it. We'll start playing our music here in 50 seconds for the outro here. And yeah, thank you guys for the support on today's live stream. We reached near 9,000 people with the word of severe weather for the next couple days. And yeah, don't forget to watch my video as well. That was uploaded earlier today. If you guys are just tuning in, I highly recommend you go watch that video. Preferably right after this live stream, so that way you get an update just before you start heading off and heading to sleep. So yeah, for those out there who track the weather, I wish you a great rest tonight, because this is probably going to be the last time we sleep for like the next 4 days. So have a great rest of y'all's night. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the live stream on X earlier or later on today, or if you're just staying here on YouTube, tomorrow's live stream at 3 p.m. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch severe weather, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's live stream. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye.